Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Friday afternoon Zoom edition. And we've had a great day today, and Bitcoin's pumped well over $60,000. It's hit 62, almost 63 earlier in the afternoon. It's drawn back a little bit. So we're going to check that out. But first, we want to look at what we think is the source of all this jubilation. So let's see if we can find that. All right. Are you guys seeing my Altcoin Alert Nasdaq?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I blew this up, and on Altcoin Alert they released this, and this has been in the news actually for a while. The ETF being available on Nasdaq, and this is a Valkyrie Etf trust is going to be offered. So it's essentially, the Bitcoin strategy ETF. So it's essentially people who are used to trading on Nasdaq and exchanges, in the stock market, can gain exposure to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin particularly, and presumably more coins in the future, just by buying this ETF like they would any other fund. So this is a big deal in the crypto world. Whales can buy it. People with certain amounts of, minimum deposits in their stock accounts can buy it. Pension funds and all those big players can buy this kind of thing. And most experts think this is the main reason behind Bitcoin's rise today, because it's become even more aware to the general public. Plus, Valkyrie, and actually whatever company is doing this, it's called Valkyrie. I don't think that's the company's name, but slips my mind at the moment. But they have to acquire Bitcoin in some way as well. So this should push the price up, but it's not officially on the market. It's been approved, but it's not officially trading yet. So this could be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing, where the rumor is that it's been approved and the news will be that it's actually listed on Nasdaq. And at that time we might have a drop, and we'll talk about that right about now. Let's see where it might go. So I'm gonna go over to my Bitcoin 4-hour chart. All right, you guys seeing my Bitcoin 4-hour chart?
Yes.
Right, good. So these are I left some of the past, structures that I've drawn. Bitcoin's blasted through pretty much all of them. This pennant, this trend line, this trend line here, and then I drew this one a little while ago. And it looks like we just got a red candle here on the 4-hour chart. The most recent one that's printing is red, so it's drawing back a little bit even now. Wouldn't surprise me if it came down here, dipped below 60, maybe 58, 59, and then bounced up again. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for this weekend. Like below 60 might be a good place to buy if you want to ladder into Bitcoin. Even then, that sounds really high to me. I'd want to wait till we have the next big dump. But regardless, Bitcoin's gone up about 14, 15% last couple of days. The Ethereum has done the same. They look pretty similar. I drew this trend line that looks more like a wall because it's almost straight up, but on Ethereum here. So, and yes, I still have my Ethereum short in play, propping up the market. So there's that to those of you who are as superstitious as I am. You got that going for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're looking forward to a bull market. So anyway, any questions on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and or the ETF, or maybe anything else that's pushing up the market?
What do you think would cause the drop if it's listed on Nasdaq on Monday? Did I catch that right?
I don't know if they said specific day, so that's what,
Okay.
you know, it's been approved. But as far as the specific listing day, I don't know if we know that yet. It should be soon. I would think this month, but
What would cause it to drop because of that?
that's
People
already,
selling?
yeah, it's already built into the price.
Okay.
The
I've
buy
been
room.
tracking Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it was interesting that Ethereum was going up at a much higher percent gain than Bitcoin was. So
Yeah.
Ethereum like punched up more.
Yeah, I did measure for just the last 2 days, and it's about the same. But overall, in a longer period of time, yeah, that's true. So, all right. Well, let's go to Altcoin Alert then. Some altcoins have done really well in this time frame, and some have not. They've just gone sideways or just gone up a little bit. So, you know, Bitcoin can pull funds from the altcoins, and Bitcoin's up like 7-8% today. So, yeah, that's going to be appealing. Let's see how far it's up today. Yeah, it's up 6.4%. I think this was closer to 9% a little while ago, but it's dropped some. Yeah, it's at 61.4 now. It was 60, almost 63. So, but regardless, let's see what the AA, what Altcoin Alert has for potential trades. Telcoin is interesting. Actually, I didn't look at this reading, but we've got a high AA score and, you know, the price quite a bit below it, so some room to work with here. Those of you who followed the Pat Thompson's teaching about this, when this mouth is wide open, that can be something worth checking out. There's no TA to be done here, but it's something worth checking out when you have the chance. So let's check it out. Tell. It's on Kucoin. All right, we get the day view. The big move up in May, up to about 6.5 cents, big drop, and hasn't recovered much of that. Though I have seen this coin in the top 5 or 10 AA scores off and on for a while. We had a big pump on this late Wednesday night, dropped, another mini pump earlier today, and then another drop. And some good looking short-term support right about here at 0.0212 cents. I went ahead and put in a low buy order on this on 0.0213 on Kucoin. Not financial advice, but you know, I'm hoping that it drops down, picks that up and retraces back around this area. So if I get my order filled, you know, there's some resistance here at around 4.5%. Some more here, about 7.6%. Then more up here, about 9.5%. I'd probably shoot for this resistance here at around 7.5% would be my goal if I can get that filled. So if we get some decent candle action over the SMA line on the 5-minute chart, you know, it might be worthwhile to get in here. You know, 2% here, and you know, well, about 3.5% on this one. Not quite enough juice in that squeeze for me, so I'd want to catch it on the low end. So that's my view of Telcoin. Any questions? Okay, there was another one over here I wanted to look at. XYO, I'd not looked at this before. It's on Coinbase and Kucoin. Let's look at Coinbase. Looks pretty similar. We had a listing last month. And here we go again, a big pump up, a big drop, then like a saucer or a cup here. I mean, this is quite a bit later though. I mean, this is on a day chart. So I mean, this was about a month after the listing, but it came back close to half of where it was, dropped again, then it came back again. It's an interesting pattern. On the hour chart, big pump up here around 10 or 11 this morning, up to 4 cents. Like 4.3 cents. Now it's about 3.4 cents. Again, some support here between say 2.8 and 3 cents. It's probably where I'd want to catch it. We're getting some candle action above the SMA line. This is intriguing. This could be a trend trade. Yeah, 12% to this resistance here. You know, over 20% here. This is very intriguing. So for those of you gamblers out there, this might be a, how much of a gamble is it though? It's like on the, I mean, it hasn't been below that support I showed you, since the 9th. It's been a long time since it's been below 2 cents. So I don't know, I'm gonna make a note to check that one out later. Okay. I think I will set an alert. That's what I'll do. Yep. All right. So you guys can just watch me do some trading. Cool. It's kind of fun when I actually see something on here that I want to trade.
There's nothing you would see right now that would make you try to ride the trend at this point.
If I saw 1 or 2 more green candles out of like maybe 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, that kind of thing. I mean, it's rare they go straight up. Then I would be like I showed you, if I could get, up here, double digits where it was this morning. That's a really good trend trade, but you gotta, it's a 50-50 though, in my mind. Those aren't the best odds. So
Can the RSI help determine that? Or is, like, for me, the RSI is kind of high. Like, I probably wouldn't do it, but I've seen it, go clear outside the lines before, like it did before,
yeah, I mean, it's
10:30.
57, it was high a little while ago. Obviously it dropped a little bit. If we had this candle action now before this big red candle, then I'd probably, I could pull the trigger on that, but
pretty clear there. Yeah.
But obviously some people took some profits here and now it seems to want to come back. So yeah. All right. Let's see what else we have. We have Ergo. Plus it's up 15% today. That's something to think about too. XYO. Let's look at ERG. I'm not familiar with this one at all. Oh, this is different. Gets a listing on Kucoin and then pumps. It keeps pumping. This is the opposite of what we usually see. Went all the way up to $19. Now it's down to 10. Mostly just lower highs and lower lows. until recently. Had a little, last couple of days, it's been trending up. Nothing too radical. This just looks squeezy to me. Yeah, big drop of the money factor index here. Don't like that at all on the 5-minute chart. So with these lower, we are getting higher lows. So that's not bad. Maybe set an alert down this vicinity around $10 if you want to trade this. So, all right. That's all I have on ERG. Let's see what else we can do with Altcoin Alert. We'll do some different sorts. Obviously, that was the AA sort. We also do it by trading activity, social. Let's see, do we have any new people here? It's quite possible that you guys heard this all before. A couple of new people, so all right, I'll go over it a little bit then. On Altcoin Alert, the first thing I look at is the AA scores, but then there are other sorts we can use as well. Some involving, more technical analysis, like the Elder Impulse, on both the hourly and the daily. I usually use the daily. And if I see bullish on the daily and bullish on the long-term sentiment, that means the technical analysis is in line with, the chatter on Twitter, what people are feeling about the project. Those can be valuable. That can be valuable information. Obviously, we've looked at Bitcoin already. Binance Coin. Good look at that. I haven't looked at that one in a while. I've got a small bag of Binance Coin. When I see these values, I'm less concerned about the other columns, but I do take them into consideration. I like neutral or better on the AA score. Thumbs up, preferably on trading activity. Social, I'm not that concerned about. Ideally, we have 5% or more on upper. We've only got 1, so that's a bit of a bummer. Neutral on hourly, neutral on short-term sentiment. It's up a little bit today, not too much. If it's up 30 or 40%, I usually assume it's run its course. But anyway, there's enough to like at BNB to give it a look. Okay, so on the day chart, we had the big run up a few months ago, drop. Captured a lot of that back. Gotta learn how to get rid of this. Anyway, and then a nice rise lately. So last few days, let's go to the hour. And a big pump here on the 12th. Lost some of it, but generally trending up. Yeah, some really nice trending up today, up until about 1:30 Pacific, and then trending back down. So, and going into a squeeze again, it's below the SMA line. So I don't like an entry now on the 5-minute chart on BNB. It's also an expensive coin, so it has to move quite a bit to really make any money. From the estimate, from right where it is now to the top of the Bollinger Band, it's not even 1%. Yeah, this is really squeezy between these two. We only have 1% between the Bollinger Bands. Usually don't even bother to trade that. Rather see something like this. That's really just one single dip here. Get a second dip. MACD cross. Something like this would be okay. Top of the Bollinger Band, just under 2%. Takes 6 hours. Not bad, but not great. So yeah, if you want to trade BNB, I think I try to catch it down here where the support is around $450. All right, let's go back and See if we have any more we want to check out. DOT has been pretty moving pretty well last few days, but it's got a bearish AA. I think AA thinks it's run its course for the short term. Litecoin's had a pretty good day, up 5%. All these values look good. Let's check out Litecoin. I've actually traded this earlier in the week and did pretty well with it. So on the day, big move up in May. It really hasn't done much. It captured part of that earlier in September, but gave most of it back and has been rising since then. Done really well the last 3 days. We're up, since the 12th to earlier today, up over 15%. That pretty much matches Bitcoin's move. And Litecoin trades with Bitcoin pretty consistently, so that's no surprise. Currently, we had a nice move earlier today, sort of consolidating now, and now it's in this the squeeze. Yeah, not even 2%. So again, this is very similar to what we looked at with BNB. It's not as expensive as BNB, but it's close to $200. So coins like this, don't move as well as some of the Kucoin listings we were looking at earlier that had 5, 10, 15, 20% potential in a retrace. So if you want to trade Litecoin, we do have some short-term support down here around 178. I was trading these little moves earlier this week, and so yeah, this would set your stop or set your alert here, and you get back to a retrace down to or up to 5 or 6%. So that's Litecoin. Let's see, let's do well, John's here. We'll do his social activity sort. You wouldn't think that this would be one of the better sorts, but it does work out because we get the very bullish and the bullish right next to each other here. We talked about New Cipher and Keep Network earlier before the show started, because these would make big moves today. This one a ridiculous move. So it's probably too late for these. Now they have very bearish scores, and that's why when something pumps crazy like this, and New Cipher's hasn't been around enough or have enough data to score on the AA situation yet. OXT's been around for a while, but again, at 35%, it's probably played out. So what can we find that's very bullish on long-term sentiment, bullish on the Elder Impulse, and an AA score that's neutral or better? I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Yeah, each time we get some of these good values, they're already up too much. This sort does work. I can usually find 1 or 2 coins to look at. It's just not working right now. So let's try sorting the Elder Impulse hourly. Let's trade something now. I want it now. So bullish values, and I want to see bullish on the hourly and bullish on the short-term sentiment. If I'm doing this sort, if I'm doing the Elder Impulse daily, I want to see bullish on the daily and bullish on the long-term sentiment. So since I'm focused on the short-term now, I want additional short-term confirmation. So on Celsius, I've got bullish on the hourly, neutral on the short-term, bullish on the long-term. Scale, bullish, but it's bearish on the AA score. So we're not quite finding what I'm looking for. So let's try, we'll go to the Elder Impulse daily sort. Or did I just do this one? Now I'm getting confused. All right. Bitcoin Cash. Okay, here we go. So Bitcoin Cash, we got Elder Impulse daily bullish, long-term sentiment bullish, AA scores neutral, trading activity is a thumbs down. That's kind of a bummer. But we do need something else to look at. So it's only up 5% today. So might have some room to move. So we'll check this one out. Okay, on the day chart, get the big picture. This one pumped $1,600, gave almost all of it back, or 3/4 of it anyway. Rise early September, another drop, trying to come back. Seeing that pattern in a lot of coins now. Pretty good the last couple days. Last night it hit 636, dropped $10 or $30, and then gained most of that back. And this might be benefiting from having Bitcoin in its name, even though it's not the Bitcoin. But again, it's an expensive coin and it's very squeezy, and we've got, practically, a little over 1% between the Bollinger Band. So that's not a good entry at all on the 5-minute chart. Again, if you want to trade this, we do have some support down here. 588. Some more here. It's right around 606. That might be more realistic. So I think it's reset your alert in the low 600s if you want to trade this one.
Hey CJ,
Mm-hmm.
looking at that Bitcoin Cash chart, it actually looks like would be one to watch. It looks like it's starting to mouth out at the moment. And looking at the MACD and the divergence indicator, it's sort of heading in the right direction. So it might be ready in an hour or so.
Well, this is a 5-minute chart, so yeah, the MACD is, really squeezy here. We do have bearish divergence. An hour and a half ago. Yeah, I'm not. Are you talking about a different chart, maybe a longer term, like the hour?
No, I'm still looking at that, but I think it's sort of starting to head in the right direction. So if you just worth watching to see if it does go the right way or not.
If the MACD crosses, that could be worthwhile to check.
Yeah.
It is this isn't a word, but I think of the laggingest indicator of the three I have up. The RSI is the fastest, the MFI is a little behind that, and the MACD is behind both of those. So, yeah, I think you could be right, but I just think there are better options, especially on some of the coins we looked at earlier. With the AA scores, I think those were, more profitable options. But the nice thing about something as established as Bitcoin Cash, if it goes against you, you can hold it for a while and not feel bad about that. Where, the other ones we were talking about that we've barely heard of, TEL or XYO, if you get stuck in these, what are you going to do? As a day trader, I don't want to be in anything more than a few days if possible. If I have to hold it for a few weeks, it wouldn't be the first time, but it's not my favorite thing to do. All right, well, are there any other altcoin alert sorts you guys want to do, or any other questions about how we use altcoin alert? All right.
Thank you. Are we okay this time?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Since you mentioned that social activity and give me credit for it, I just wanted to mention that when you do that, when it does pull up the bullish and very bullish on the long term and elder, which is what I'm looking for, but anecdotally, the AA score usually sucks. They look good, and the AA looks bad. So it's a balance. Here, I'll turn my thing on. I've got like such terrible internet. I try to keep that on. It's like a balance between, do you want to watch the AA score or do you want to watch the bullish, very bullish? Because I don't think you get them all pushing in the same direction at the same time.
All right. So if I understand you, you're saying that, using the social activity sort, and well, I know this is more of a trend. Like this is what's happening now in a trend where with the AA score,
Yeah.
we're trying to predict the future.
Yeah.
So, trend trading is valid. I think it's a little risky. It's not what I do all the time, but
well, it's one of those things that you're not going to get all the indicators all pointing go at the same time. It's
No.
always a balancing act between which ones you want to be watching. And if you don't know anything, you can just watch the AA score and use that and do like they say in CryptNation. But we that are here all the time are trying to look a little bit beyond that,
Right.
So I just wanted to mention that I had seen that, and I don't think I've seen a really high AA score with that combination. It's not to say it doesn't happen. It's just, and I don't look at it all day long like you do. But when I click on it and I see it, usually I have to decide, do I want to look at the elder impulse and the long-term sentiment, or do I want to look at the AA score and make a decision?
Yeah. Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
And to clear up my view, on the AA score, when I look at these other sorts, I just want to see neutral or better. If I see bearish, then that makes me think my clock's ticking on this, and that's okay. But you have to keep that in mind, just like John
just
said,
be aware.
That the AA score thinks it's going to drop in the next 3 days. But hey, if I get 5% in the next hour, I'm really good with that. So.
Right. Okay. I'm going back to my spirit animal.
No, thanks for chiming in. Okay. Any other questions on Altcoin Alert? Very well. I will throw it open to any questions you guys have on crypto in general.
DJ, I've been pretty frustrated lately with like doing the altcoin alert. I just haven't found anything in the moment. Seems to be all, set an alert, set an alert. Kind of like we
That's
have
how
to
it's
do.
usually going to be if you want a good entry point.
Okay, so like my question is like, do you have like, and I'm always missing these news. There's been a lot of run-ups this week on some pretty basic coins, like DOT was yesterday,
yeah,
Matic today, that I hear about way after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a list of coins that you like, to just like 20 coins, let's say, that you look at every day and like you have connected to like news on Twitter? Like, how do you keep up with like something other than just looking at random charts or like the altcoin alert?
Well, I've got a few information sources. Obviously, today's presentation is focused on Altcoin Alert. I do rely on the SIG devs. I did a video on one last week. I traded another one last week and another one this week. I'm 2 for 3. I'm still in the most recent one. Didn't go as well. So I do rely on those for listings and partnerships. I've got, because of my leverage trading, I've got my list of Bybit and Femex, and I scroll through those frequently because I trade them quite a bit, and those are going to be your more your more popular coins. The Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, those, and then Solana and Link and DOT. So those are ones I look at quite a bit, and I generally know what's going on with them. But something coming out of the blue, like Keep or New Cipher, there's no way that I'm going to know about this. I just can't follow everything. So, and then to tell you everything I do regarding information, I have to bring in other sources and programs and things like that. And I want to keep the show focused. But if you want to talk about that afterwards, I can share some other things with you that I like to use. But that's a roundabout semi answer to your question.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
I just want to give
CJ,
folks, the
Mhm.
best way to use Altcoin Alert.
I see a disturbing trend. Can you bring up the chart for Tribe USD? TRIBE, then USD. So I have a list of a bunch of different cryptos here in TradingView, and I go through them and I look for patterns. So Tribe here is very interesting. All right, go to a day chart. Yeah, there you go. And this is pretty much what I've seen in a lot of the cryptos that I am clicking on, one then the other and the other, is this idea of they used to be high, then they go down. Now in the last couple of weeks have been running up, and then bang, they hit about the same peak and they're falling. And I see this same pattern in quite a few, 5 or 6 of the ones on my charts. And it makes me think that it's just about ready to happen to Bitcoin and Ethereum. When the rise equals the last peak,
Mhm.
then the whales come in and say, take.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting in a lot of ways. And two I can think of off the top of my head. Number one is we've seen this pattern a lot in more recent listings on Coinbase Pro and Binance. This particular Tribe token, I'm on a Binance chart now, was listed, less than 2 months ago. And a lot of times we see the big pump and then they drop and they level off. But what we're seeing lately is a big pump, a drop, and then another pump. Sometimes it's a few hours later, sometimes it's a few days later, sometimes it's, in this case, 6 weeks later. So there's that. And then I think what Patrick wants to emphasize, though, is more like what we're seeing in Bitcoin on the day chart, where there's a bunch of stuff here, but price has memory, as Bryce often says, and so this is coming up to its all-time high, and this is going to face resistance there, pretty significant.
Well, also I watched an hour-long presentation on TV about GameStop.
Okay.
And with my viewpoint, it wasn't about shorts, it wasn't about squeezes. It was about the fact that people just kept buying it because it was going up and up and up.
Yep.
And all it took was 1 or 2 investors to cash out.
Yep.
Then the whole thing collapsed. So I see danger signals here.
I agree. I'm kind of on the fence this weekend. If I want to cash out some of my Bitcoin, that would definitely pump the market. But so yeah, and we talked about earlier in the program that I think the general trend, especially with this news, is up enough that it wouldn't surprise me if it came back here and tested 58, 59, and then came on back up. But who knows? Who knows how much of a ride we can get out of this ETF news? It's pretty big news. So, but is that built into this current price, and then it's dropping now? The rumor news thing, or what? So, and then how's that going to affect the altcoins? Okay.
I thought it was interesting, the privacy smooth tale of 2 coins.
Yeah.
His predictions were pretty much bang on with what's going on with Bitcoin at the moment. And that was from a couple of months ago.
Yeah, Craig's talking about Terry's Sunday, or his newsletter through email. Terry in the Slack groups, one of the better chartists and a pretty sharp trader. So yeah, I sort of glanced at that. I didn't read it all, but yeah, he was reverting back to his August charts and some of the patterns he was seeing then. So, well, guys, I'm probably going to wrap this up about now, and then hang around for a few minutes after. for questions about some other things that some of us are involved in. And then we've got another webinar coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. And for those of you who are going to hang around, please do. If you're otherwise, I'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.